Good morning, Seth.
Morning.
All right. Good morning and welcome to, where are we at? Batavia Rotary. So at 7:30 in the morning on Tuesday. So I'm going to ask Mary Jane to open us with an invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for the many blessings that you give us in another morning. Lord, we've got a real mess, and we know that you are in control. And we just ask that you be with us, protect us, and give us the wisdom we need to get through all of this. In your precious holy name. Amen.
Amen. All right, can we recite the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, we have Harry here too, Seth. So we're really filling up here. So this is great. Seth is remote this morning, so I'm just going to get us started, and then I'm going to turn it over to him. So we did the invocation and the pledge. So we have guest Michael McNamara is on our virtual. He'll be presenting in just a little bit. He's from the Claremont County Economic Development, and we'll be presenting in just a little bit. Seth, did we have any birthdays and anniversaries?
Let me get that pulled up. I don't have that off the top of my head.
I looked this morning and I didn't see anything, but I think I was looking off of an old list. So
I can get that pulled up real quick.
All right.
So come back to me in just a few minutes.
Jennifer, while he does that, I believe Vic has a guest as well this morning.
Oh, that's right. Vic, would you like to introduce your guest? Is he on?
I'd be more than happy to. We have Mike Fike today, who you probably see on the screen here. I'm happy to see that he's logged in. Mike and Nancy Fike have moved here from Tampa, Florida. He is a Rotarian. He's been a past president on 2 different occasions. He's a multiple Paul Harris holder. So, he's not a new person. He's not an outsider. He's very much a part of us. And so I've been a Rotarian now for 21 years, and Mike has been for a long time. So we're just very, very happy to have him here. He's here for a good part of, we're not sure how long he'll be here, but he's training for our ministerial training program, and he hopefully will be reassigned to New Zealand. But right now, New Zealand is off limits. He can't get into the country, and the country is closed. So we don't know how long that'll be, but nonetheless, he's here, and I hope that he can join us for club meetings here. But he and I will be working together very closely at our home office in Park 50 area. So maybe we could have Mike say a few words.
I'm very happy to be here and looking forward to getting to know all of you there. I know the Rotary Club in the Florida area, the Tampa area that I've been in. It's a blessing to be able to network and meet with all of the people. And so I'm looking forward to that here also.
Well, welcome. I wish you had brought some more sunshine and warm weather with you. I think we're supposed to get some toward the weekend, but thank you and welcome to Batavia Rotary.
Thank you.
We can teach him to root for the Bengals.
There you go. Well, I think we need
some teaching.
I think we need some education or some teaching on rooting for the Bengals at this point. So, all right. Well, thank you. Seth, do you want us to go ahead and do Happy Bucks?
Yeah, that would be great. Len,
Right.
I think
Len
is ready for that.
has agreed to do Happy Bucks for us.
Well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Is anybody happy today?
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, honestly, this is Happy Bucks and maybe a little something else. So, Keith, what are you happy about?
I'm not happy about anything.
Well, come on. First of all, if you're not wearing a Rotary lapel pin, it's $1 fine.
Wow.
That's not happy.
And then I'd like to know what you're happy about.
I am happy.
I'll pay the fine.
I will pay the fine for the majority of people in the room. Or Michael can.
Yeah.
But I am happy that we have such a great turnout from virtual and in person. So this is wonderful. I know that with COVID, everybody is, if you're like me, one day you're fine, the next day you kind of panic a little bit, then you're fine and panic. So it kind of goes back and forth, but we just all need to remember to wear our masks. So thank you.
So who virtually is not wearing their lapel pin today?
Uh-oh.
I think that Mac and I get bonus points because we may not be wearing a lapel pin, but we've got a Rotary shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
I think we count, right,
Got it
Mac?
covered. Got it covered.
Well, I'll pay Mr. Lawrence fine for not having it. And then, just happy to be here today. And then also, happy vote for the Cumberland County Commissioners and the Health District. They released over $1 million in funds to the schools in Cumberland County to help them with COVID fights and everything from some of the CARES Act money that they had. So very appreciative of all the work the Health District is doing as we deal with the contact tracing and all that good stuff. Helping to keep the schools safe.
Good. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Happy to.
Tony?
I'm happy for Mary Jane let me borrow the $1 because I'm out of Rotary practice, but I will pay back next time I'm here in interest for all the meetings I've missed.
Harry? I'm happy. I didn't have my pen. Got it out the phone. Yeah. But I'm also happy that there's a vaccine. There's several vaccines on there. Well, there is.
Yeah. There is.
Yeah, there's definitely hope. There's no doubt about that. Ed, what's the story here?
Well, I don't have a lapel pin. I do have rotary cufflinks.
Ooh, that counts.
That counts.
Yeah, that counts.
I tried to get it on my lapel. I want to go through that.
Well, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
But I'll give you $1 anyway. And I have hope for the Bengals, but if you really want to watch a good football team, watch the Bearcats.
There you go.
Yep, that is very genuine.
This is for Jennifer. Thank you for stepping up to the plate. This is for Mr. Little for all the equipment he's got out there. He's really stepping up to the plate so we can have virtual and in-person meetings. This is for the KV School District because they are doing an awesome job with our kids and keeping them safe. And I know it's difficult. And this is because I don't have my pen on.
Okay.
I'm very happy to be here in Cincinnati and getting a break from all the sand and the surf and the sunshine and all the beaches up here.
Looks like you have a call.
Well, here we go.
Okay, I'd like to say that I'm just very, very happy about a number of things. First of all, about Mike Fike being here. We appreciate him very, very much. We've known him, for a number of years and having him come up here. Also, very happy to see all of you again here online and there at the physical meeting location. I also want to mention, I'm very happy we had our food giveaway. We distributed 1,250 boxes of food yesterday. Seth came by just after they finished, after the last boxes were given away. I feel very badly if any other Rotarians came by and did not be able to get the food boxes, but we are having another semi with the same number of boxes come next Monday, same time, and 4 to 6 p.m. And if you come at 3:30 or at any time after 3 o'clock, you'll be guaranteed to pick up a box. So I would like to invite everybody and feel badly, regret that you were not able to get the food. So I'll send my virtual money here by PayPal to the club.
For those of you who are on virtual, thank you, number one, to Vic. I was just sending a reminder to you that you still can give virtually through our website, but thanks, Vic. You are the perfect advertisement, so thank you.
I was gonna say, I'll follow up with Vic. Oh, sorry, Mac, I cut you off. But I'll follow up, Vic, saying I did stop by about 4:15 yesterday, and to move 1,250 boxes in that short of a time period is a pretty impressive operation. So no problem. I definitely don't feel guilty about it being out, but hopefully it goes as smoothly and as successful next week. I have a few things that I'm thankful for this week and happy about. Again, Brandon and Jennifer, someone already gave them a shout out for stepping up since I'm not able to be there this morning. This is kind of our first effort of, my first effort of being online when there's an in-person. So appreciate both of you and all the work that you do, Nicole, for organizing the Zoom. And then I get to go back to work today. So I'm surprisingly happy about that. I didn't expect to be, but I think it'll be good. I've been out for about 3.5 weeks, so happy to kind of get back into a routine. And then my wife's mom is coming back, or is coming into town for 2 weeks tomorrow, so that'll be good as well.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I've got 3 happy bucks that I'm very happy for. I don't need to go into the details right now, but just suffice it to say that I've got 3 reasons to be happy.
All right. Now you have a mystery for us. Anybody else online? All right. So Mac, while you have the floor, would you like to give us, you asked for a few minutes this morning for a presentation?
No. Well, see, keeping the mystery got me in there early, didn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, I would like to say that Peter gave us the presentation, a very good presentation on the foundation. And he talked about the Paul Harris Fellow and has encouraged us to do matching. And Paul Harris Fellow, and Michael, I don't have to explain this to you because you're a Rotarian. And but it's an honor. It's an honor that celebrates the contribution to the foundation, and it's highly respected and regarded in Rotary. And it is with honor that people award Paul Harris Fellows to other people also. You don't necessarily have to make a significant contribution to the foundation yourself. Others can recognize you through the foundation for the work that's been done. And you know, in our club, we have some stalwart people that are always there. They're there across presidencies. They're the run silent, run deep effort that makes this club work. They've been there since 1938 when our club was formed, but we've got some that I think right now should be recognized as the 3 newest Paul Harris Fellows in District 6670. So it is with great pride on behalf of the club that I present a Paul Harris Fellow. You can see that. I don't know that you can see that on the screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
To Nicole Henderson Johns. Congratulations, Nicole, and thanks for everything you do. Save that for last. And Brandon's name keeps coming up. Congratulations, Brandon. And this is going to be no surprise to anybody. I wish I could have Tony present it. If I was there, I would. But congratulations, Murray Jane West. And thank you for everything you do. I will get these certificates to you along with, each of you have a Paul Harris pin to wear now.
Yay.
Wear it with pride. I know some of you are already Paul Harris, not Paul Harris Fellows yet, but you have money in your foundation account. So you can now work on Paul Harris Fellow +1, your second Paul Harris Fellow to become a multiple Paul Harris Fellow. Congratulations to all of you. And Peter, it looked like you had something to say.
No, not really. I just managed to get this system working so that my microphone, thus ending your idle of bliss. There are many Paul Harris Fellows around the country. There are many in this district, and all of them have one thing in common, and that is support for the Rotary Foundation, which does so many good things in the world. Our threesome here of stalwarts have demonstrated their efforts and their loyalty, their commitment to Rotary, and I'm glad that we were able to honor that and recognize that. We have, before the end of the year, since it's almost tax time, time to be thinking about taxes anyway, the idea of contributing to the Rotary Foundation, and the club has set aside some funds to match donations to either Polio Plus or to the annual fund. up to, well, let's just say if you contribute $100, it will be matched, and you have until the end of the year to do that, which of course makes it a contribution for tax purposes in this calendar year. Seth, it's good to see you back. And I hope I did that. I hope I did that right. We still have some left in that fund, don't we?
Yes, we do. And everything on my list is getting stolen since I'm not there in person to talk about, but I'm not going to complain about that. Yes, you said that exactly correct. So we have every Rotarian is able to get up to $100 matched for donating towards either the Rotary Foundation or Polio Plus. Any Polio Plus donations are also getting matched by the Gates Foundation 2-to-1. But we have set aside funds to match any Rotarians donations up to $100. So I know I have a check from Mary Jane to get on the board towards my Paul Harris Fellowship. So, and then I'll just reiterate, Nicole, Brandon, and Mary Jane, thank you for all the work that you guys do. It's very well deserved on your part, so thank you.
I will say that we had 11 Paul Harris Fellows before today. Our club now has 14 Paul Harris Fellows, active Paul Harris Fellows. We got a lot more if we look back in time, but let's keep that trend going.
You're talking about our current membership. There
Yes.
have been a number of many Rotarians over the years. This club's what, 82 years old.
Yeah.
And there have been a number of folks, there has been a number of folks who have become Paul Harris Fellows. 11, now 14 are still in this club, which is approximately half of our membership, isn't it?
It is, and
That
I
ain't
think,
bad for a club.
yeah, not at all. And I think looking at the list last week, we have at least I think 4 or 5 that are multiple Paul Harris Fellowship award winners. So that's a high percentage as well. So that's something to be proud of.
And again, I will get these certificates to you guys in your pin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Seth, you want to go ahead and?
Yeah. So a couple different things that as I've been catching up on emails over the last couple of days, we do have a couple different trainings going on right now or on the schedule for Rotary. So Nicole, I know you had emailed and Brandon had input as well. So either of you, but there is Rotary Leadership Institute. I believe the training is either coming up or is I didn't see the dates on that, but Nicole or Brandon, would you mind speaking to that and what that might entail? It is virtual this year from what I understand. So if you can just give some more detail on that.
I can share about RLI, Rotary Leadership Institute, for just a second, but I honestly, I'm sorry, I don't know what the date is because I'd have to go back and check, but I will do that before the end of our meeting today, unless Brandon already knows that answer, or Mac knows that answer, which is also a possibility. But Rotary Leadership Institute is an opportunity for you to go, whether you are a new Rotarian or have been a Rotarian for a long time, to learn a little bit more about Rotary. But you know, when I went, I thought it was really for like newer Rotarians who just didn't know what Rotary was all about. And as I progressed through the 3 different sessions of it, I realized that it really wasn't. So if you have been a Rotarian for a really long time and you've never taken Rotary Leadership Institute, I encourage you to do it. I don't know about anybody else, but as a pastor, we have to do continuing education programs and we have to keep up and we have to find our own continuing education. And quite often that continuing education is something that, cameo from Joe here with major bedhead. Quite often that continuing education is the same old. But what I found with Rotary Leadership Institute was that it was a totally different perspective on some of the same things, that same leadership styles and leadership ideals and leadership ideas. But it was a different perspective. It was from the Rotary perspective. It was from the perspective of people who are not just in business, but people who are in various different networked areas of the world. And it just it made things click in a different way. And I also got a chance to meet people from other clubs, which I wouldn't have had through any other opportunity. And one of the people that I met was actually our current district governor, Greg Berkmeyer. So I got to meet him. And so when he came to our club, it was like homecoming for me, getting to see somebody, getting to see one of my friends from another place. So I really encourage people to go and share and do that. The great opportunity this year is that it is online. It is virtual. So you can join from anywhere. You don't have to worry about taking a day and going to travel someplace. And Brandon found that information. It is Tuesday, December 1st at 6:30 p.m. So that is December 1st is part 1, December 8th is part 2, and December 15th is part 3. So there are 3 parts of it. Beneficial to do all of the above and the whole piece, even if you can just get to the first one. It's a great opportunity, and Seth shares with me that it is $20 for materials, so it is really inexpensive. Actually, in the past, going in person was $50 each time you went, so $150 total. But $20 for materials. It's online. You can do it wherever you are. It's a great opportunity. If you have not done this, please, please, please consider doing this and take that opportunity that's being given to you.
And Nicole, on those dates, on the December 1st, 8th, and 15th, the time will be 6:30 to 8 p.m.
6:30 to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great. Seth? Oh, he's not there. Seth went away.
I think Seth might have gone to go get a special little person.
Oh, all right. All right. Does anybody else have any announcements? We need to make sure we leave plenty of time for Michael to speak. So does anybody else have anything? No? Well, I'm not sure how long it's going to take Seth to get the special little person. So there he is. She is. He, she, both of them.
There they are.
Aw.
Yeah.
Did you wake her up?
She was fussing a little bit, so I had to go grab her, sorry.
Oh, no.
But this is Lila for everyone that didn't get to see her a couple weeks ago.
See, this is
So
another
she's
advantage of
3
virtual.
Yeah. So she's 3 weeks old today.
She looks very
doing-
content.
Yeah, she's doing mostly pretty well. Last night was the roughest it's been so far, but of course today I go back to work, but she's figuring it out, so no big deal.
Well, and grandma comes tomorrow, so grandmas are always helpful.
That's right.
Just
That's
saying. All right. Do you have anything else you need to?
Yeah, so you guys finished up RLI. There's also PETS is going on right now. I think that started. We are still looking for a president-elect, which is what the PETS training is for those of you who don't know. So if anyone is interested, we'd love to chat more about, even if you just have questions, reach out to Mac, myself, any past president, Jennifer. We'd love to give you kind of an insight of what it entails, and but we are still looking for someone to take over come July. So if you are interested, let us know if you have any questions. But PETS is going on right now, so we do need to. I know last year it went virtual as well, and I don't have the dates for that, but I just saw the email yesterday. So, but please let me know if you have any questions on that. And then the last thing that I had was we did get an email late yesterday from Greg Berkmeyer. And as COVID-19 cases are rising, he is making the recommendation that all clubs meet virtually throughout the end of the year at least. I think we might get some more direction on that from Governor DeWine mandating that, but we will kind of play that by ear. I do think I I like having the option, give those that want to meet in person the ability to. Brandon's done an excellent job. Brandon and Nicole have done an excellent job making that a possibility for us. So given, I do want to respect, and Michael mentioned it at the beginning, I do want to respect the guidelines of no meetings of groups more than 10. So if we are able to, depending on what Governor DeWine has to say later on this week, if we are able to meet in person, and I think the board is going to have to chat about this, but we might be capping it at 10 people in person each week, even though our facility is we can handle more than that at the facility. But I do want to respect that guideline. So the board will chat more about that, and there's going to be more to come, and depending on what Governor DeWine says. So, but we did get that email yesterday from Greg Birkmeyer. So more to come on that, but please be on the lookout from emails from either myself or someone on the board about how we're going to proceed going forward. So we might have to do a sign up for in-person, but we'll kind of play that by ear. The board hasn't had a chance to talk about that just yet. So. Any questions on that?
Just one comment, if I may. I believe that the final decision does remain with the club rather than that which the district imposes.
That is correct. And Greg did say that's his recommendation, not requirement. So it is a club decision of what we want to do going forward, unless the governor has something different to say about that. So.
All right.
Okay, great. Well, that's everything that I have. And I think we'll have the chance at the end of the meeting as well. But for now, Michael McNamara is with us, and we'd love to welcome him and hear his presentation. Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I'm going to start sharing my slides here. I'm not going to put it on presentation mode because then I lose all of you and I can't tell if I'm losing the audience. So this way I can actually see how everybody's responding and if you're falling asleep or if you're getting on your phone. Or, but I appreciate you having me. I like seeing all the Rotarians and future Rotarians, you know, possible future Rotarians. That's my reason for getting up and enjoying life every single day. So I appreciate being here. I've been with Claremont County since the beginning of August. So I've been here just over 3 months. And as soon as day one, I got here, and right away I was working on, as most of you have probably heard by now, the project that's coming in, taking up the rest of our South Afton property, which is Nestle Purina. That's a 193-acre facility that's going to be $550 million capital investment in our area. Nowhere else in Southwest Ohio is anybody spending $500 million right now. So I think that's a huge win for Claremont County. It's probably one of the biggest wins in our history when it comes to capital investment. So over the next 2 years, there's probably going to be about 1,200 jobs, construction jobs, building that up. And then 300 permanent jobs on site at South Afton. So we're very excited about that. So Nicole, next slide. No, I'm just kidding. Making you jittery. So what is economic development? And, you know, I pulled a lot of sources together to try and put the essence of economic development into one statement. And I think this captures it. Economic development is the process by which a location or organization adds value to the economic, political, and social well-being of its people, often through job creation, infrastructure improvements, and increased commercial activity. And so that's what I try to achieve when I'm working on economic development. So what economic development is not is increased retail presence. A lot of people will mistake, a shopping mall or a strip center as economic development. And although that is a commercial development, if we go back to the last slide, you know, we want to make sure that we're adding value, okay, to our economic, political, and social well-being. And oftentimes the types of establishments that will locate in a strip mall are ones that, you know, pay wages that are less than sustaining wages. So what we want to try and do is make sure we balance that retail because, you know, we need retail. So I'm not trying to downplay the need for retail. What I'm trying to help people understand is that, you know, when I come into a new area, one of the first things people will say is, you know what, we really need a steakhouse at such and such location, or, you know, gosh, I want a Walmart. And, you know, so, and that is their vision of what economic development is. But what we try to do is we try to, you know, what I try to capture are those manufacturing jobs that bring in wages that are above or at a level where you can sustain your own life as well as that of your family, if that's your path in life. So, you know, what retail can do is demonstrate that there is economic development going on, because retail will often locate where you have strong growth and disposable income and jobs that are sustaining. And so, you know, what we try to do is we try to get those jobs that, like I said, especially those manufacturing jobs, and I'll get into manufacturing a little bit later. There's no fixed definition of economic opportunity, but most will agree that corresponds to the realization of personal potential. So this is kind of that capitalist way of looking at the world of, you know, we want to attract people who see opportunity in our area. And so how do we do that? You know, one of the ways that we did that in Claremont County and in the past was the county commissioners invested $5 million in some property along 32. You know, a lot of people ask, well, why didn't my community get that? Or, you know, why did they choose that area and not my area? Well, Claremont County is a big area, and we have to understand that not everybody is suited for an industrial park. Not everybody is suited for a Kings Island. But what we do know is that transportation often drives development. And we have an excellent corridor in 32, a corridor which we are going to try to improve over the next 10 years or so by eliminating a lot of the stoplights between I-275 and the eastern part of our county, which will improve the speed to market for those companies that are starting to locate along 32. So we had initial investment of $5 million in the South Afton project. The Community Improvement Corporation, so that's a quasi-governmental entity which I operate. We purchased the land, and then we made infrastructure upgrades, making sure that all the utilities that a company would want to have ready on site in order to locate quickly somewhere are available. So yeah, that's water, that's sewer, that's gas and electric. And then just last month, if you've been reading, the final parcels of our industrial park sold for $6.6 million. So we had sold previously some parcels to Duke Realty, where Design Within Reach now is located, and then the remaining parcels for $6.6 million. So it's actually, once we pay the county back, the Community Improvement Corporation will pay the county back. There will be no cost to the taxpayers, but the outcomes of this exercise, and I will tell you, 4 years to fill out an industrial park is extremely fast. Yeah, a lot of communities that develop an industrial park look at an industrial park and they say, okay, this is where we're going to be locating businesses for the next 10, 20 years. And in 4 years, we filled out our industrial park. And so that's how powerful having a product for a site selector or a company can be. If we didn't do anything at South Afton, we wouldn't have Nestle Purina. We wouldn't have Design Within Reach. We would have a farm field, which in a lot of communities, they want to retain that agriculture. They want to retain that because that's part of their identity. And that is perfect for that community. And I encourage communities that want to remain agrarian and rural to do so, but make themselves the best version of that they can. And I'll get into that in a little bit as well. So our outcomes over the next 24 months, I mentioned some of these already, 1,200 construction jobs. And even though this is in Williamsburg Township, and townships don't typically collect earnings tax because there's a joint economic development district. And that's an agreement between Williamsburg Township and the village of Williamsburg. They were able to create this district where South Afton exists, where the village will be collecting income tax on the workers in that area. So a lot of those workers might not live in Claremont County, but they come to Claremont County, they use our resources, and the township has to service that area. And so, being able to capture that payroll tax on that $12 million payroll is very important for Williamsburg Township to be able to provide services in that area. And so the split, I think, is 85% will go to the township, 15% will be retained by the village as part of their fee for being the tax collector. And that is how a joint economic development district by law has to work. A township cannot on its own collect a payroll tax, but you can create that district with a village that has the capacity to collect income tax. $550 million capital investment. Most people would classify that as a mega project, almost any under any definition. And then a big point on this development is that it will be bringing in a new high capacity gas line. And what that will do is create uninterruptible power for the residents in that area, as well as future growth in that area. So on that last point, because of the changes that we've made out there, all of that land that a lot of families have been holding for a long time because they felt that, gosh, someday this is going to be more valuable than it is now, are going to start to be able to realize what they want to out of the land that they own. And so because of that gas line and the changes that we've made in infrastructure out there, it's going to potentially open up hundreds of acres for future commercial and industrial growth. So we did provide, or the village and the school district and the township agreed that, or I should say the township and school district agreed that there will be a 15-year, 100% tax abatement on the property in that area. And a lot of people will say, well, why do you give so much away on property to bring a business in? Well, part of it is the payroll, part of it is the commerce that the people coming in will bring. It's manufacturing jobs, but the real benefit, the value add, and that's what we're trying to achieve. If you remember from my second slide with economic development, is we're trying to add wealth. We're trying to add prosperity to our community. Well, we've opened up hundreds of acres of potential growth that we won't have to abate taxes on. The value of that property will go up. And when there's improved, and just on the raw value should increase because of the potential that it has, and the market will dictate what that is. And I think I see our auditor is also online. So, and she'll have to determine, with her office, what that value will eventually be. But then when improvements are made on that property and more development comes and we're not abating that, those are taxes that will go to the schools, the township, and the local governments wherever that development is happening. And so that's the real value. Because of this development that we've created, more development now has the we have the capacity for even greater development. And like I said, as we make improvements on 32 and get rid of those stoplights between 275 and the eastern portion of the county, eliminating that barrier is going to be seen as very attractive, I think, to future companies. So what do we do in economic development? Well, we have in community and economic development, we have the economic development department, which I kind of just gave you an overview of what we do. Community development, and that primarily looks at grants and our community and helps our local governments with the community development block grant program, which is a federal program helping low and moderate income areas. We assist in planning, and even in communities that have their own planners or planning departments, we can still lend support to them. But a lot of the townships don't have the capacity and the budgets to have their own zoning and planning departments. So we'll assist them with that on the county side. We have GIS, which is the Geographic Information Systems, or the mapping for the county. And so if you need a map that shows you something, or you want to see a map of something, our office is who you'll call. We have a pretty responsive group. And if you want a printed map, if you want just something on PDF, they can produce it and send it out to you fairly quickly. But if you want a printed map, we can also sell you a large format printed map, and the fees for those are really, we only charge what our cost is for the paper and the toner to produce those large format maps. So very good value there that a lot of people aren't aware of. We do building and permits through our Permit Central. I also run the Port Authority, which we help finance projects through the Port Authority. And we also can provide a tax exemption on construction materials for larger projects. So if there's a project coming in that's more than $5 or $10 million in its scale, working with the Port Authority might benefit that company, especially if they're being forced to make some infrastructure improvements that they're not getting assistance for through other methods. And then the Community Improvement Corporation, which is that quasi-governmental entity that the commissioners sit on. There's a couple of community members that sit on that, and that the Port Authority and the Community Improvement Corporation were created, or entities that the legislature created years ago to allow counties, cities, villages, and townships to do things that the local governments can't do on their own. The difference with a Port Authority being able to do something rather than county commissioners or township trustees or city council owning property and making decisions is that these entities have boards that have community members on them that are not elected, they're appointed, and they're supposed to have a complete county outlook in mind when we're starting to make decisions, and it's supposed to be informative and for those decisions. So it's another level of government that a lot of people often don't understand or see, but it is helpful when it comes to development. So what do we do with all the different with all those different departments or sub-departments that I have, or divisions in my department? Well, we do the community development block grant. We do OPWC grants, which often are bridge replacements. They're small infrastructure projects. They can be road or water or drainage or sewer improvements, capital bill requests. So oftentimes communities, counties will want to submit to the state of Ohio requests for money for funding for specific projects. And the legislature has its own priorities on what it wants to see for those projects. But what we try to do is, the Port Authority will find out from all of our communities what they need. Sometimes it's historic preservation. Sometimes it's money to build a parking garage. It can be, there's a lot of different things that we can ask the state legislature for in the capital bill requests. And we have 11 projects right now where we're hoping to get funding. We won't get all of them funded, and the ones that are funded might not be fully funded, but to be able to get some assistance through the legislature into our county is very helpful. And like I said, I believe we have 11 requests right now, and hopefully before the end of the year, the legislature will meet and pass that capital bill that was originally supposed to be passed about 6 months ago. But because of course the COVID situation, a lot of components of our life have changed and been put on hold, and this is one of those. But now that the election is over, we're in what's called a lame duck session before the new legislature is sworn in. The current legislature now is looking at passing the current capital bill. And like I said, we also do planning and zoning for our rural townships and anybody else who wants our assistance in the county, the mapping, permits, and inspections. So I just got a couple more slides, and I'll try and get through them quickly so I can leave time for questions. But you know, kind of some of the big picture items that we provide for the county are public relations, advertising, marketing, provision of information. So when we have property, and it's not just South Afton, if somebody else has property, we get a lot of leads from Ready Cincinnati, which is the Regional Economic Development Initiative under Jobs Ohio. And we get leads from other areas. And if I know of a property that somebody's trying to market and it matches the request for information in a lead, then I can use that property and answer that lead. And hopefully I'll pair, you know, one of our landowners that's looking to, you know, sell their land with a company that's looking to locate here. That has happened a number of times, and just since I've been here in August, where we've gotten leads and I've answered leads. Liaison functions, that's with the commissioners, with legislators, local governments. I try to be a facilitator for communication where others might not know where to go. Financing assistance, development planning, and advocacy. A lot of that advocacy comes in what I was talking about with the capital bill, but we also, you know, advocate for our you know, local economy. So I'll work with the chamber, I'll work with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, I'll work with whatever entity in the county has the same goals that I do of enhancing our and elevating our economic development outlook and our economic opportunities. So what would I recommend communities do? A lot of I've talked on the phone, spoken on the phone, and I've visited a couple of communities since I've been here, and I hope to do that more. But a lot of them ask me, what is the next step? What should we do? We don't know how we need to move forward with economic development. So, you know, one of the things I recommend in any organization, whether it's a local government or otherwise, is to develop a strategic plan, because you need to understand why you're waking up every morning and what you're doing when you go to work. You know, you can throw darts at a wall and hope that you hit a bullseye every once in a while, but if you don't have a direction, if you don't have a plan, then you're waking up and maintaining without direction. You know, a winning football team doesn't go on the field without a playbook. So a strategic plan for a county, for a community, for any organization is that playbook that lets you know I'm on the right track. This is what I'm working towards. This is what we all agreed on. You know, pay attention to your corridors. You know, most of our communities in Claremont County, and if you see my eyes going off, it's because I have a big map of Claremont County on my wall. So whenever I'm referencing the county, I kind of drift towards looking at the map. But we have state routes and major corridors running through a lot. Most of our townships and even the smaller ones. And these are high traffic areas with high traffic counts. And that means, even if your community is small, rural, agrarian, you still have a corridor. And so you want to make sure that that corridor is clean. You might want to have some sort of a gateway that says, welcome to my community. Maybe you have blight that you want to address and get rid of along your corridor, because there's a lot of streets, there's a lot of different arteries inside your township or your city or your village, but the ones that people see are your major corridors where they're driving through, and people will make judgments about your community. They will say, oh, that's a nice community based on your corridor. And so if you're not paying attention to your corridor, your corridor will become your brand. And if you have blight or trash, broken windows, that sort of thing, that becomes your brand, and that's what people see, and that's how they define your area. So by paying attention to your corridors, you're helping to take control of your own branding, what people say about you. And then make sure your land use plan and your zoning are up to date. I think all communities need to revisit this every couple of years. Most communities in the state of Ohio, so I'm not picking on anybody individual, this is just the way it is. They have a land use plan and a zoning map that might be 2 or 3 decades old, and they haven't updated it, but the world changes. And as the world changes, we need to keep up with it and make sure that we're keeping pace on what we want to see happen in our community. And then connect with your existing businesses. One of the things we do in economic development is every day that we go to work and we still have all the businesses that we had yesterday. That's a major win, but it doesn't make headlines. It makes headlines when one of those companies leave, but it's one of the ways that we keep our existing businesses is that we connect with them and make sure that they have access to our local government, make sure that they have somebody that they know they can reach out to and talk to, ask them if they're having problems, ask them if they're, if they need, more space, if they're looking at moving. A lot of times we might have a product, land, facility that's available in Claremont County and they don't know about it. And they're already looking at Northern Kentucky or one of our neighboring counties. And so if we're not talking to our businesses, if we're not connecting to them, we can lose them and we won't know why. We'll be like, wow, they're gone. What happened? And if we're talking to them, we know exactly what's going on and we can help them. And that's one of the most important functions that an economic development organization can do. So getting back to why we want manufacturing jobs, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce a number of years ago put out a publication called What 100 New Manufacturing Jobs Means to a Community. And even though it's a couple of decades old, it's still relevant. Some of these figures on this slide will probably be higher. The income, personal income each year for, just in South Afton for the 300 jobs we're bringing in is actually going to be around $12 million. But some of these other numbers are still the same. An additional 68 jobs for every one in other fields for every 100 manufacturing jobs we bring in. Your bank deposits, that's going to be a higher number. But payment of mortgages or rent on 100 homes or apartments for 100 jobs, we have 300 jobs coming in. So, that we can expect that number to be closer to 300. Sufficient sales to support 4 retail establishments. So just on our development in South Afton alone, these are the secondary effects that we hope to expect in the coming years as they open up their facility and start to employ those 300 new jobs. So if 100 new jobs supports 4 retail establishments, we're hoping that 12 retail establishments will be sustainable just on that one development. 91 school children for every 100, so we're looking at closer to 300 there. Income to support 359 people, so that's 1,000. So if you triple that, you know, so 1993 numbers, $1,089,000 is probably going to be much closer to the $3 or $4 million range for retail sales, and then you know your car figure is probably going to be about the same. So you know, this is my last slide, but this helps give you an idea of why those manufacturing jobs are desirable for any community. Retail jobs, service industry jobs don't have this type of effect on the economy that manufacturing jobs do. And so that's why, you know, every couple of years when there's a big election coming around, a lot of people talk about we need manufacturing, we need to bring production back to America, things like that. Well, this is one of those reasons why. It's not often articulated like this. It's expected when somebody makes a statement like that, that it's generally understood by everybody. Yeah, we need manufacturing, but when you can actually see numbers associated with why manufacturing jobs are so important, because they sustain so much more in a community that other types of jobs don't, then it starts to click. That's why we need manufacturing. That's why we need industry, because those manufacturing jobs support commercial and retail development. They support our schools. They support just about, you know, our home sales, our quality of life. So that's why a lot of communities in our area have started to develop their own industrial parks, because they're looking for those manufacturing jobs. And that's what we tried to achieve here. And so far, we've been seeing success, and we've seen success faster than what we would typically expect. So I appreciate everybody's time. I think if I'll stick around for a few minutes, if some of you have to leave, I understand, but I appreciate everybody's attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions? All right.
I have one.
Sure.
You mentioned, Michael, that the property in South Afton was purchased for $5 million,
Yes, sir.
and a number of infrastructure improvements were then implemented. And then the whole thing was sold for $6.6 million. My question gets to be, what was the value of the improvements that made it worth that much more?
I can find that. I don't have that information at my fingertips. But what I do know is those improvements have been made, and the 6.6 million that we have was just for the 193 acres that were remaining after Duke purchased the approximately 50 acres, 48 acres, where Design Within Reach now sits. So there's actually been more income than just the 6.6 million. But I believe after the Community Improvement Corporation next month will pay back the county its initial investment, there should be about $1.5 million left in the CIC account, which can be used for potential future investment, whatever the CIC has on its agenda. So that means after the improvements have been made, not only does the county get its money back, but then there's still, I guess, a net profit left over for additional community reinvestment for whatever that next project is. And I guess that's one of my goals, is to try and create that strategic plan for our department on how we're going to be moving forward. And I want to try and make sure that we're looking at just at the whole county, not just one area. You know, some areas aren't prime for, like I said, an industrial park, but there's other economic development functions that we can perform in some of those other townships. And I want to make sure that all of our local governments feel like they're being serviced by our county.
All right.
Sounds like a win-win situation, all right.
Yes, sir.
Question is, I wonder how many other locations there are roughly in the county that could lend themselves to becoming industrial parks.
There's a potential for a good deal along 32, like I said, where that corridor is. And there's some other areas of the counties that have arteries that are close to that transportation, because again, transportation is a driving factor for companies that want to be quick to market. You know, one of the nice areas of South Afton is we have a rail spur there as well that we're going to be putting in, or that Nestle is going to be putting in. And linking into that rail spur, the Hutamaki site, which is the old Ford plant, also has a rail spur. And the owners of that facility are doing very well in filling that out. I believe that they'll be close to 100% occupancy probably within the next 12 to 18 months if everything keeps going the way it should. We don't know what the future holds, but the trend seems to be continuing for them, that they're doing very well with that facility. So it really depends on the property owners. I know that there's a lot of property owners kind of in the Williamsburg area that want to see something happen there. There's some property owners that are adjacent or very near the South Afton area that are excited about their next prospect. So I think that there's a willingness for those property owners to market what they have. Sometimes though, the biggest barrier is people aren't willing to put a price on it when they want to sell something, and you can't sell something without a price. So, but I understand that. I like capitalism, and people want to get the full potential that they can out of their property, and so that's why there's that negotiation that goes on with the right location and finding the right price for it.
All right, thank you, Michael. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I think we are running over just a little bit. So if you have questions, I'm sure you can email them to Michael, and he will get back to you. I think we're going to end our meeting. Thank you, Michael, for being here and sharing with us. So we always end our meeting with the four-way test. So if we could, let's stand and recite our four-way test. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, everybody, for attending virtually and in person. Have a good week.
Thank you.